Good morning, multipliers, and welcome to the Multiply Morning Show. My name is Dan, and today we're once again breaking down the stories of the day. Okay, so today is a crazy day. It's actually not a huge news day, not a lot of big things happening, but there were a few nuggets just we want to quickly touch on here. First off, Disney is looking at actually started the process of redoing The Lion King. Now, most people think of The Lion King, especially at least the first one, as a masterpiece. It's perfect. I mean, it was a great, fantastic movie. I remember watching it as a kid and being mesmerized by it. Now, the person who they billed to direct it, none other than Jon Favreau. Now, if you don't know who Jon Favreau is, he did the first two Iron Man. First one was great. Second one was, he's done a host of other things, but he most notably recently did the Jungle Book adaptation for Disney, which made over like $700 or $900 million, a humongous success. So it makes sense as to why they want to do that. If they take it in that direction with kind of a live action approach, I think it'd be really cool rather than trying to do a cartoon again. I think it could be cool. I'm nervous because it is just so good. The Jungle Book's a much simpler story in my mind. There's obviously human interaction that makes it easier for a live action. So it'll be interesting to see how they do it, but I am intrigued, excited. What do you think about Disney redoing this masterpiece? Let me know in the comments down below. All right, and on to our next story. Now, this one's about Samsung again. Once again, the news. If you don't know, Samsung was recently in the news for the exploding Note 7s. Now, you heard me right. They were exploding, overheating problems, everything. They did a global recall. Estimated that cost them around $1 billion, which is an unfathomable amount of money. But yeah, so they've gone through and they're once again in the news for something exploding. Actually, this time though, it's their washers. Now, it's one of their top load washers made between 2011 and 2016 that basically, under certain circumstances, is exploding. Now, if you want to see the full article, I've got links down below. This definitely puts them in a little bit of a predicament, a little bit of like a scary situation. If you have a Samsung washer dryer made between 2011 and 2016, I would definitely be going to those recall sites, checking to see if yours is one of the models that's having this issue. Thought about doing something as simple and just normal as doing your laundry, and also it explodes. Definitely a scary thought. Samsung's got a lot to answer for. I don't know what's going to happen here, but I'm kind of intrigued and a little bit scared for them. No, they're a really good tech company. No matter what you think about them, they've definitely pushed the tech boundaries in a lot of ways. So it should be interesting to see what they do next, or how this story shapes up. And on to our next story, guys. We have two of them actually here. They're kind of social aspects for you. First one is Bridget Jones' Baby, the new movie out about Bridget Jones. It's the third in the series there. Renee Zellweger is a star, and basically follows her as she is dating a gentleman who she's been with a long time, and then they break up. She gets into a new love interest. Then she gets pregnant and she doesn't know which is the father. I don't know. I haven't seen the movie. Don't have any plans to. But basically, there's a whole bit that unfolds from there. But one of the things is in the movie is, spoiler alert, she decides to keep the baby. So the Huffington Post reviews this. Now, they gave the movie apparently a 5 out of 5 star, but at the same sense, the person who reviewed it, she actually continually was kind of knocking them because they didn't include abortion and birth control as an option in the movie. This movie is getting ridiculed by someone because it didn't include abortion as a viable option. The fact that this woman wanted to keep her baby because she made a choice to sexually engage and therefore conceive a child is now a point of conflict. I mean, that doesn't make a lick of sense to me. It makes no sense. I mean, the fact of the matter is, people don't always consider abortion. Even people who are pro-abortion would consider keeping a child. I do not agree with abortion in any sense of the word. I think it's murder. I mean, that child is a child. There's been several stories of people when aborting a child that comes out and it's actually still alive. So many things, and I digress. I'm not going to get into an abortion debate right now, but I think the ridiculousness of this is that we're at the point now where people are ridiculing because it's not discussed. I mean, that's foolishness. That's stupidity. The fact of the matter is, it's a choice that is unfortunately an option in our society. It should not be. God actually set up a statement of this in the Bible, in a sense. He talks about with Abraham, whenever he called him to sacrifice Isaac. Spoiler alert, he didn't sacrifice Isaac. He had another sacrifice. Mount Moriah was actually a place where people went to sacrifice to Moriah, the god of the underworld, where they would give their children. It was a society with the prophets of Baal and throughout where people actually actively engaged in abortion all the way back in those days. Child sacrifice, different things that happened. So it's been a point all the way from there, and that was was a point when God, with Abraham, was setting a precedence that was not going to be something he was going to ask of his people, that he was never going to ask them to sacrifice their young children or any human sacrifice in that sense. So I think it's intriguing, it's mind-boggling that we're in 2016 and now this is the things we have to begin to answer for. It's ridiculous. I don't understand it. I wish it wasn't the case. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, okay? Now onto our final story. Today we're talking about this really just strange and unfortunate event. Now if you haven't been following the news and you've been under a rock for the past like month or so, Colin Kaepernick, or I don't even know how to say his name, Kemper-Nichols, something, I don't know. He's a quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers, and he has recently taken the position of either sitting or kneeling during the national anthem because America doesn't stand for what it says he says, and that everybody's free. And until that's a state of what it is, he's not going to stand. This has sparked stuff all over the sports world, everywhere, people refusing now to stand for the national anthem. The most recent revelation is a petty officer second class in the United States Navy. Now she recently, while at a commemorance for Pearl Harbor, refused to salute during the national anthem. Now there's talks of what her punishment's going to be and what's going to happen. It's all under investigation and kind of being sorted through now. But I tell you what I'm saddened by. This lady, this woman, whether she thinks that or not, she stands for what America is and what it can be. See, all these people are missing a massive thing. This woman, when she refuses to salute the flag, to salute during the national anthem, as a member of our armed forces, she is committed to defending and staging, and she even says that that's not in question. She still stands by her oath and everything. But the reality is, these people are saying everyone's not free. America's not perfect, but we're doing as best as we can. And I agree. I understand that I can't understand every side of this equation in the sense of I'm not a African American, I'm not a woman, I'm not anything. I'm a white man, and I understand that there are certain connotations and levels they can put on me because of that. But what I do understand is the way this should work. I can never ever be there. I can never be in those moments. I can never be those people. But what I can understand is what that means when you stand for the national anthem. The land of the free, the home of the brave. We are here because we're moving forward. And these people who refuse to stand, or refuse to salute or whatever else, they're saying that they want to see change, but in the same sense, we are called to stand for what it can be, to make it better every day. To stand up, and I understand that they're making a protest. They're trying to say in that moment, I think something is wrong. And I understand that the debate, it's raised, some questions are possibly good, but the reality is men and women have died to save and to uphold that anthem, to make this the land of the free. And by sitting down or refusing to salute or any of those things, you're taking all those sacrifices, all the people who died to progress and to go further and further. You're taking them, and now you are saying they have done bad, that they have not accomplished what they need to. Life is a movement. It's constantly progressing and getting closer and closer to where we need to be. These protesters are they're off base because they forget the key part, that is, we're here to make it better, to make it greater. And so we need to stand for that anthem and say that I want to be a part of the land of the brave, the home of the free. Backwards there. But anyways, they need to stand and say, I want to be a part of making this great country better. Now, we also need to realize that there's a certain morals that are being cast away and stuff to get there and really get back to our roots. And that's the only way it's going to happen. I hope people understand that really, if they think about it, now granted, I understand that tensions have been high before in a sense, but in my lifetime, I don't remember a more racially tense time than this point right here. And I see that it's coming as progressiveness takes on more and more, because it doesn't become this matter of I'm this or you're that. It becomes this matter of I am who I am and I deserve everything, and I deserve, you need to understand and accept and all these things. But really what we're doing is we're trying to say everybody has this solidified place, which we are all equal, but we can't all want to be elevated. And that's honestly what the case is here. I saw a video on Facebook of a guy who held up a Black Lives Matter in a neighborhood that was more of a white neighborhood, and he held it up and everybody walked by and they said, you know, all lives matter. None of them made racist or any type of slurs that I saw. He held it up there and people said all lives matter. It's not that black lives. He actually had several points where he talked to people about it. All lives matter. All lives matter. And then he went to an African American predominantly neighborhood and he held up that all lives matter rather than black lives matter. And he had people coming up and chasing him, trying to attack him, calling him a racist, when all he's saying is that all lives matter. Whether you're black, you're white, you're Latino, you're Indian, you're Native American, you're anything. You deserve to be good, deserve to have freedom, and that is what he stood for. And that's what he was saying, but it was called a racist. There's an off base here, there's a point of entitlement that we all need to take and put into check, and check ourselves at the door too, and say, how can I truly make this better? And is really revolting or refusing to stand or all these things, at least making it better, or they're merely just making the situation more divided? I will leave you there, guys. That kind of came into our focus too, because we're out of time. I leave you with this, that God wants to rebuild the church. He wants to rebuild you. But the reality is we have to accept and go towards him. To accept and say, I'm not here to serve myself or to serve some idea. I'm here to serve God. And to go back and to submit ourselves to what he's got for us. I was in Nehemiah wrapping it up today. And I tell you what, guys, God is good. God is great. He's got a plan for your life. But the reality is that sometimes it's not easy. Sometimes it's not popular. And right now, the world's in a situation because we chose to ignore truth. I leave you there, guys. Comment down below what you think of all our stories today. As always, links in the description. Video of the day is a trailer for Doctor Strange coming out in November. Looks fantastic. I'm excited. Definitely deals a little more of the mystical stuff, which I know some people don't like, and I understand why. Definitely looks like a cool new take on a Marvel movie. So check that out below, guys. As always, my name's Dan. God bless. We'll see you next time.